Divine greetings. This is Alicia Monet, and I have something to say. I'm doing this video because the sister had asked me my thoughts on African polygamy, and I was not about to type my thoughts about that because there's a lot. And I probably should have asked for clarification what she meant by African polygamy. Did she mean polygamy in Africa or polygamy for people of African ancestry? I'm not quite sure about that, but I'm just going to give you my thoughts on polygamy. Okay, let me start by saying this. I believe that for certain individuals, polygamy is A1. It works really, really well. I understand the idea of polygamy. I think that in creating a village or having a life where you're building and you need more help, it could be very beneficial. I think that that works just fine. I think that in African countries, they have been living, some African countries, there been polygamous. Polygamy has been working just fine. In America, too, there are some polygamous couples where things work out just well. But as far as I'm concerned, I was in a polygamous relationship. I came in, I was a second wife or whatever, for a short amount of time. I believe that in order for it to work properly, all things need to be done decently and in order, meaning that before a man could even entertain a second wife, he needs to truly be one with his first wife. He needs to truly have his intentions right. He needs to live in integrity. He needs to be focused. He needs to be able to sustain the first wife. He needs to be able to, they need to be in agreement. I feel as though a lot of this polygamy, the way it's practiced in the states that I've seen and that I've witnessed and that I've encountered and that I've experienced, it's not done decently and in order. The first wife is left jealous and feeling in all sorts of types of ways because she's not included in the selection process because of the relationship between the first husband and wife to begin with. It's like shaky, so he goes outside of the marriage in order to find a second wife, even though he was polygamous before he found the second wife and the first wife knew. Like, it's just so much. I just think that everybody's not built for polygamy, and you don't have to kid yourself. If you're not willing to share, if you don't feel it, I say don't fake the funk. If you're not built for that, don't do it, because it'll only eat you up inside, because you'll be fighting jealousy, envy, all kinds of thoughts that are poisonous, and they'll be in your mind, and you create what you think. That's energy. You don't want to put. So it could be very dangerous to entertain if you're really not about that life. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that's about that life. I think that it could work beautifully if you truly desire it and everybody's in love with each other. I feel like it could be a great support system, so you can have helpers, you can have, an assistant, being a mom, holding down the fort, being a wife, the mother, the woman, the matriarch of the family is a lot of responsibility. And so if you have another wife, then you can share those responsibilities. It'd be great. I find that a lot of times there's conflict due to the time and energy spent with the wives, So I just feel like the husband needs to be on his A game. He needs to have his stuff in order before he calls himself bringing in another woman. I think that a lot of times it's prematurely done, and it's in order to suit the man's fancy, because he just wants to have his pick of the litter, which is probably a bad choice of words, referring to women as litter. But I said it is what it is. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I feel as though, a lot of times that these men are just playing the polygamy card to get their way, to be able to have sex with more than one woman, when it shouldn't even be about that. in my opinion. And if it is going to be about that, then, I think that the first wife needs to be spared, because I feel like every woman deserves the best. If you want to share your man, that is great. Me personally, I don't want to. I'll experiment and dibble and dabble in things, but I'm not about to share my man. Like, let's just be real. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to, and I don't have to. I require too much for that. I have joined in a relationship, but I've never had a relationship and had another woman join in. I'm not for that. I can't do that. I'm sure anything's possible. I just don't feel like it. I don't want to. I don't want to share. So yeah, that's how I feel about polygamy. If it's done correctly, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that that everybody can benefit from it if everybody is being true to themselves. It's like I said, it's not for everybody. Some people, I know that it is totally for them, and they love it. I have been extended invitations to become a second wife by men and women in relationships, and I don't want to be nobody's second wife. I'm not a second wife. I'll teach somebody how to be a second wife. I could do that. Very nurturing, very loving. I could totally teach you. In fact, I will. I could teach anybody how to be a second wife. But I don't want to be a second wife, and I don't want a second wife in my relationship either. And that's just me. And that's my opinion about polygamy. If you don't want it, if it doesn't sit well with you, then don't try to make it. And if you feel as though you really like this man and you really want to be with him, trust and believe that just the way you created him, you can create another one that is not polygamous. So don't bend over backwards unless you want to. All right.